Days, the Africa CDC holds its media briefings. Let's take it there live.
Control of the production process and the delivery process. The South African company has no say over that arrangement because it's a contract manufacturer. Once this became clear, the president then said that that arrangement should be changed. So the way to change that is for Aspen to get a license, to become a licensed manufacturer, similar to Serum Institute with what's the Swedish company? It'll come back to me just now. Okay, AstraZeneca. Okay. So that is a licensed arrangement. It's not a contract manufacturer. So this morning, a statement was issued by Aspen and Johnson & Johnson, confirming that they are moving their relationship to a licensed arrangement. So the plan is that if they successfully negotiate the licensing between them, we can't force them, but we've made it clear that that is what we want. A licensed arrangement will mean that the product will now be produced as an Aspen product and a license from Johnson & Johnson. And it will become an African branded product. On top of that, the president has asked Johnson & Johnson that the relationship also include drug substance production. That's a much more long-term process, but it could be achieved in the next 3 years, we believe, our own experts. And Johnson & Johnson have have been very positive in that request. But for now, we will leave them to the commercial arrangement of a licensed product. So by the time we get to January, we hope that what will be coming through is a licensed product. So now let me also turn my attention to other conversations with donors. So let me just point out that although as AVAT, we have our main interest is to buy vaccines, as special envoy, my interest is overarching. I'm interested in all vaccines coming to Africa. That's my job, is making sure that all vaccines come. And so I have been putting, hopefully, a fair amount of pressure on COVAX, demanding that the commitments that were made be fulfilled. And we have been holding numerous meetings with both COVAX, WHO, UNICEF to try and improve the situation. And I'm encouraged, let me say this, I'm encouraged. The attitude is very good. We're making progress. I think that September, October should unlock this logjam around why we had a situation where they've secured 2.4 billion doses, but have only delivered 30 million. Okay, so naturally we are alarmed by that, as is the rest of the world, because it meant that vaccines, almost 300 million vaccines we expected by August were not delivered. We got 10% of that. So we're working extremely hard to try and fix that. John and I will travel to Geneva next week for talks. And hopefully at our next press conference, we will have some good news. But I'm also grateful there to Dr. Seth Barkley and his team, because these are not, we're not here to blame people. We want to solve problems. So we've been working together extremely well. So as part of that partnership of trying to work together to unlock the vaccines, we're working together with the French donated vaccines, the European donated vaccines. We're working with them on the American vaccines, and I'll close with the American vaccines. The United States has so far donated 25 million doses, and those have mostly now been delivered. They were delivered through August. There are still shipments coming through. We are now beginning to get shipments from the United States as part of their donation of Pfizer vaccines. Now, the US, as you will recall, made a global commitment of 500 million doses, Pfizer vaccines. Whilst they have not given us yet a definitive number of what share Africa has of those Pfizer vaccines, we have been working on the basis that Africa should get at least half of that, given that more than half of the COVAX countries are African. So with that in mind, we are expecting 60 million Pfizer vaccines to be shipped before Christmas. Okay? So if you do the numbers, let me summarize. If you do the numbers, the Europeans have a commitment to deliver at least 200 million doses by December. About 70 million doses will come from the AVAT purchasing, including those directly purchased by the government of South Africa. It should be about 70 million. Okay, and those are single dose. I can't break down the European doses yet as to what is Johnson & Johnson and what is AstraZeneca and Pfizer at this time. But there is a considerable amount of Johnson & Johnson in the European shipments. So it's 70 million from the African side directly purchased, and then an additional 200 million from Europe. The Americans, we expect about 100 million over the same period. So you can run the numbers yourself. That's 370 million doses, circa, for this period. Okay. COVAX themselves have purchased vaccines. We believe we have been notified that they have purchased Sinopharm vaccines, which will begin to arrive in September. We expect about 100 million Sinopharm vaccines to come through COVAX during this period. The shipments out of India remain blocked, which is primarily where COVAX purchased vaccines from. And that there are no vaccines really coming out of India at this stage that we've been notified about. I'm not here to speak for COVAX, so you can go to their press conference and find out what the data looks like from their perspective. But I'm giving you an overarching picture of how we are looking at it. Okay. I think I have covered most of the issues. I won't be able to stay today for much of your question and answer because I have another commitment. But I thank you for listening. I thank you, my colleague, Dr. John. He's looking very sharp. He's kicked COVID now, but he's now a veteran, so he tells us from the inside how deadly this thing is. And once again, I appreciate his the work of John and our colleagues from Africa Exim Bank. They've done much of the heavy lifting to make it possible for us to be where we are. Thank you very much.
Strive Masiyiwa is the African Union Special Envoy for the Acquisition Task Team, or VAT, within the Africa CDC effort to get vaccines to the rest of the continent.